Hi, me again. This is a video about how I use the palette, and I also talk a little bit about how to use the brushes. I've been working with that small painting over there, and I filmed from up and down to the palette because a sweet woman asked me how I was using the palette, and I thought, okay, let me show you. So this is what this video is about, and remember what I always say, share my videos and subscribe to my channel and stay cool. So, here's my palette. A nice woman, a Facebook friend, that saw my videos looking at my videos on YouTube, asked me if I could show how I use my palette, and I'm going to give it a try. The problem is that I did a test, and when I know that the camera is looking at me, it's like people watching me paint, so it's gonna be a little bit unnatural. But if you see what I do, I just do like this, and I grab a new color, and then I'm actually working with a very small face, so I'm using these small brushes right now. You can also see how I'm setting up all the colors. It's always the same rhythm. If you change that, you're gonna confuse your brain. You're gonna have big problems getting into the painting. It's like moving the keyboards or tangents on the piano. And I'm painting quite dry actually. I don't use so much oil in the paint when I'm painting. I just kind of go back and forth. And I just dip it, I just do like this, take off the color, and then some of the oil gets into okay, sometimes I take, if I'm going to have a thin lasur, as it's called, I can do like this, and maybe put some red into it, and let it, but that is usually in the end of the process, because and what I do before I start on the new layer to get some oil on the canvas. I also do that, I put the oil on the canvas, lasur, with the blue and the reddish, totally clean, so I get the oil into the color that way. Thing is, when you paint, you usually get into this deep flow. Right now it's talking to you guys, it's kind of hard to do it, but I'm going to do this for a little while, and then I'm going to turn it off, keep on painting, and I'm going to come back to it when I'm doing bigger surfaces, because then I work much faster. You have to find your own way. I like to hold it like this, And some people like to hold it like this, but I think it's the right weight, and my finger is supporting it under there, and I have a good grip and I can move it around like this. It's a nice way to do it. You see I'm kind of grabbing it. I'm using these brushes with some texture in because they are also leaving some texture on the canvas. If I'm gonna have some light, I just take some white, grab the color, then I put it on, and I can take another color and I mix them on here, and then I also mix them together when I put them on the canvas. And to make a shadow, I grab the blue, and I should have had two cameras actually, one on the palette and one on the painting itself, so you can actually see both, but I have no idea how. I'm not a movie maker, I'm a painter, so you can get my point. But it's very hard for me to paint and talk at the same time. This is Prussian blue. It's very green. It's extremely green, not almost like blueberry. If you have ever gotten blueberries, it's kind of bluish, greenish, extremely. There's an extreme. If you put some white into it, you can actually see that color is kind of greenish. So you put some reddish into it, and you can put some, and you get different colors, and that is how I do it. Everything I do I've learned by mistakes and by just painting, so no one has taught me anything. And I hope this might make it easier for you to evolve your own style. That is what happened. Is what I do is just what I do, and you have to find your own way. All painters, if you look at classical painting, worked in the same. If you look at Rembrandt and you look at the even good abstract paintings are built up in the same way, in the textures and putting the colors beside one another. Yeah. So I just do like this, and also there will also be a little bit of color left in the brush. So in a way, you're also mixing more colors together. Why? Because of this, and you're also getting the oil into it. So that is basically the secret of using a palette. There was a book, Norwegian book, I remember from when I started. It's called Blue Man. There's a boy, his name is Blue Man, and it's written by a Norwegian author called Jens Bjørneboe. And this boy who is coming to this artist's studio for the first time, and this artist putting up his first palette, and he hands him to him, explains how we should have the colors and which colors, and he hands it to him, and he says to him, "Blåman, here's your first palette, and congratulations, you have a strange life before you." I just can't stop remembering that book, because it's true. If you really start loving painting, you will constantly meet yourself in the door in a way. You will meet your own limitations, and it will be a struggle. If you're an honest person, and if you are self-critical, another pompous ass that think you are the world's best painter of the... You will have the kind of introspection that will leave you in a constant struggle and bring you up and down and around and around. So, yeah. I used to be a welder, so strange that I'm a painter now. You see, that's how I use my oil. I just take it right off, because if you start doing this and mixing, it just becomes a mess. You lose control over it. Think of every brush stroke as a building block. A building block to almost like Lego. Every stroke is a building block. Anyway, I'm gonna come back to you later when I'm using more bigger brushes. So yeah. Yeah, I just thought I was going to give you a little feel of what I'm doing. Since this is a palette, you can actually see how I connect the dots and see how I use. You see the small, very small face, and I just go like this, and I kind of form it with a background. Then I go this way. It becomes a very intimate, really calms me down when I paint small things like this. Because you have to focus a hell of a lot more than if you're doing bigger parts of it or bigger paintings. So when you start to go into the details, it really gets hard. So, for me anyway. And sometimes if you keep painting and painting, you become quite blind and you really can't see anymore. You just paint in the dark in a way. Any painter who has painted experienced that you can't really see anymore. You see, I'm using my finger, my nail, so it's not smart to work here before you are going to work here, because then you're gonna, like here, smear it all over. So it's best to choose where to. I see people use these wooden staves and wooden, but I prefer my nail or my finger. So and you can also use your finger. This girl has this beautiful face. Actually, she reminds me of Rihanna. And it's kind of an incentive to try to make it as beautiful as I can. I basically choose my models, the ones who doesn't pay for commissioned work, from purely aesthetic reasons. And there's a reason for that. Pretty objects are inspiring, period. If I choose to paint a brick or something in nature, something I find, piece of wood, anything, it's never any piece of wood or any brick, it's the brick or the onion or the apple. I don't go into the store and I just choose any apple, if you know what I mean. People looking strange at me and seeing me standing there trying to find the right apple. For heaven's sake, what is he doing? Is he just going to eat it? You know? Is he neurotic? Is he scared of germs? Oh, it's so small. Drives me nuts. And it's so nice to work with. I'm going to start to do most of my paintings. Is always a big. I'm going to start to also make series of these small things. I also use this thin synthetic pencils for the extreme details. Because the bore brushes usually is very good most of the time, but they tend to become too small when it comes to. You can actually buy sablon brushes, and they are really good, but they are fucking expensive. And they get ruined so fast when you are using them for oil paint. So. Okay, I'm gonna stop now because I need to concentrate. I'm working with this exhibition. I have a little bit over a week left to work, and when I get into this flow, I'm working 24/7. I just sleep and work, and I even forget to eat. So it's a good way to get rid of some fat. Of course, I need to lose like 6 or 8 kilos. So it's a good thing. Anyway, I think you get my point. You can see now that can't stop. It's a little bit too high here. Should be small. Yeah. And when you're gonna, if you see eyes in there, yeah, too much, too much. Something like that. Well, I need to concentrate. Yeah. There we are. See? Oh, that's no. Okay. Now see. Almost. So, I've been working hours on end on this face, which I basically screwed up and then had to fix again, and what was going to take me 2, maybe 3 hours took me 6 or 7 hours, because when you start fucking up you have to walk back the cat, as it's called, and try to save it and then let it dry until next time. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Just going to go over the surroundings in the painting and for a couple of hours. I'm going to watch the last episode of Game of Thrones, episode 8, and I'm looking forward to that, having some food and enjoying some, yeah, let's see, adventure, war. The thing with Game of Thrones is it's so realistic, and it has all this magic. I'm an atheist and an anti-theist, but I have no problem in accepting all this magic in that series. It seems so natural, which means it's a good series. Probably one of the best. Anyway, you see how I started to, when I work now, I work quicker, I grab colors, and I move around. because now I'm working on the background and I have kind of a more quicker dialogue, building up the textures. That is what I enjoy with some of Vermeer's paintings, all the detail, all the kind of fluid painting. Right now I'm working on this white wall, so just putting on the basic texture. So, and it's in bluish, so I use different kinds of blue, and I just can grab some white, and I put it on, because then you build up this clay-like or brick-like feeling. You kind of crisscross build. You shouldn't, yeah. I can say this to people over and over again on my Facebook page when they post paintings there, that you have to differentiate the different textures from each other. The cloth and the skin are two totally different physical entities, and you have to feel how it is. Now, okay. So you see, I'm just, if I now, a dress is extremely yellow, so I just grab it. You see what I do? I just grab it. So it's kind of different ways of using the color for everything you're going to paint, and that's how you become a better painter. I know painters that are much better than me, for heaven's sake. I don't say that, but the thing is, if you're going to become a better painter, you have to learn how to use the brush and the palette. You just grab it, and you want light, you can't do like this, because then it dies. The colors has to be kind of, I hate that word. They have to be inside, in a way. If you see inside the strokes, and you just put it on, and you can let it dry when you have some nice strokes, and you have gotten that glow. You let it dry, and you mold on top of that next time. So you then gradually build up this different textures in a different object in the painting. Some objects are very distant and you keep them low. Some objects are near, skin is soft, but everything has its own texture. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. This video about my palette. I'm going to show you what I mean. So, if you see, well, it was very dark. I can see now. Maybe I can press this one. No. Well, anyway, it's very dark, I see, but this is what I mean. I build the textures, the different. Yeah, it was very dark actually. Anyway, that's the thing I do. That's the face I was battling with for hours and hours. And it's very small, as you see, it's quite tiny. Anyway, thanks for watching.